All right. We're back again. Another week, another installment of the Cabana. But today, it's going to be nothing like no other. I got my good co-host here, good old Papa Scythe. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up? SOP Papa Scythe here. What's up, guys?
Hell yeah. And we got a guest on the show today. It's a good old and new acquaintance. Simba, what's up, buddy?
Yo, bro, what's going on, man?
I saw some news today that I just had to come and talk about. Had to. Because has anybody else been noticing this sudden shift in the gaming scene as far as what game developers are doing and what gaming companies are cooking up?
As in what?
I mean, just
Like
as
their
in like the
games, their
dynamic,
movement?
like think about like the dynamic of like games. How before it was always you had to play on like the same fucking console, same platform, or even like be in the same region as each other.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like
yeah, no. They're taking leaps. I feel like cross-plat is gonna be a thing of the past here within the next few years.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone's
I
gonna become obsolete here pretty soon.
honestly, man, and like the other thing too that I've been noticing is a lot of companies are starting to not be exclusive anymore for one platform. Like, I mean, hell, Marvel used to only be exclusive to Sony platforms for a long time. Like, DC was never exclusive to anybody. I mean, hell, even like God of War at one point was only exclusive to
I
PlayStation.
was I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna bring up God of War and the fact that God of War was PlayStation Premium for the longest time until Steam got the rights to it.
I mean, hell, even The Last of Us. Last of Us was a PlayStation exclusive for a long time too.
But when I had my PlayStation, I didn't really play like Last of Us or anything like that. I played like Warzone and God of War, and that was it.
Right, right. No, I get that. Like, I remember when I had my PlayStation. I guess it would have been my buddy. He had his PlayStation. He had the PlayStation. I had the Xbox. But like a lot of games that were on PlayStation that were exclusive, I would look at them. I mean, I'd be like, I understand why they're exclusive, but like, it would be nice to play this on a different console that just ran the game better. Because don't get me wrong, Sony, the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, phenomenal consoles. They were. I mean, phenomenal. But I just always felt like my Xbox gave out better graphics. I got better output from my Xbox than I did my PlayStation.
Yeah, I've had more problems with overheating and data lagging, screen tears, blue screens, worse with PlayStation than I ever have with Microsoft.
Right.
In my eyes, Microsoft is superior. I mean, exclusives are cool and all that, but exclusives don't equal better gameplay and better consoles. And I feel like that's why we're talking about what we're talking about today, because man, oh man, is Microsoft monopolizing right now, bro. Like, let's not jump around the elephant anymore. Let's address the elephant in the room about Microsoft monopolizing.
And no, 100% facts, dude. You're right. Microsoft has been monopolizing. Microsoft has been monopolizing the game now for a while. I mean, slowly, very slowly, and very shortly. Not just with Game Pass, but I mean, even with Microsoft, if you look at like their recent acquisition of like certain gaming companies, or even gaming developers, or even like what they're buying their license rights to these days. I mean,
And
they have been
clearly, the
slowly
moves
running a monopoly on the gaming scene for a
no,
while now.
for sure, and clearly the moves they're making are reeking in the profits and the money that they want because Borderlands 3 on Steam, Ultimate Edition, all 6 DLCs and everything like that is like $90.
Yeah.
It's free on Game Pass right now. What's an
Mhm.
annual subscription to Game Pass? Like the cost of a game,
It's
and
like
you get all
$25.
these
It's like
games.
less than that.
Yeah, yeah, and you get all these games. You get 90% of the games on Game Pass come with either deluxe edition, benefit edition, platinum edition. So you're getting DLCs and all that right out the gate.
Right. And like not only that, but like even with Microsoft doing something crazy this year. I mean, you get almost every brand new game on day 1 or next day release on Game Pass, dude. Like Assassin's Creed you got next day on Game Pass. Do you know that? Like isn't that crazy to think? that I can get an $80 game nowadays for $25.
That's
No,
crazy.
facts. Facts.
That's crazy, and I like
Yeah.
that too because the whole Game Pass discount, bro. They're cutting games in half. You know what I'm saying? Riders Republic, I've wanted the game forever, and I've had the game multiple times, so I'm just like done buying it. But right now on Steam, the game's still like I said, Steam likes to do this thing with price gouging. Doesn't know how to drop prices on games and still have games that are 2, 3, 4 years old at shelf price. You go over to Game Pass and they're like, "Oh, you want this game? Well, over here our game's $25, but with Game Pass you get it 75% off. So really you're buying a game for like $7. So there you go. Have fun." That's
You
crazy.
want to know something? You know something crazy? I'm glad you brought that up, man. I'm glad you brought that up because Steam and Microsoft might have just broke the gaming scene. Like, dude, Steam and Microsoft, they're talking that next year's Xbox is gonna have integrated with Steam, which means you'll be able to get your Steam games on your fucking Xbox, dude.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah, but
That's fucking crazy.
my thing is if that's how it's gonna be, and it's gonna be like running, I wonder if it's gonna run backwards compatible with that too, with Game Pass integrating into Steam. So Steam and Game Pass coming together, and maybe instead of it being Game Pass, or just still calling it Game Pass, just instead of it being called Xbox Game Pass, now it'll just be called Game Pass. It'll be integrated with Steam and with Microsoft. Can
Name
you
it
imagine
Steam
that?
Box.
That would be crazy. But I also think maybe they're gonna drip feed into it.
You think
So
so?
that they'll drop certain games that are well known on Steam, and then for backwards compatibility, they're gonna probably do that like over a period of time.
Right? Like, I know exactly. Like for example, like any of the simulator games. Which, let's be real, most of the simulator games were Microsoft did help or integrate most of the simulator games. Like they did. Would that mean that the simulator category in general would be going down in price? See what I mean? Like games like, you'd have games like Halo. You'd have games. Granted, you already get Halo on your PC, but like you'd have.
Even potentially, you see all these new Call of Duty games
Yeah.
that are kind of remakes of other Call of Duty games. They could be throwing that as well.
Oh, no, exactly. And like the other thing is Call of Duty has like they have their deal right now with Microsoft. That's why you were able to get Black Ops 6 on Game Pass in the same day. What if they continue to do that and the price of Call of Duty goes down on Steam? Or
Yeah,
potentially
Understood.
they even.
but if they're working together, surely if the price is gonna go down on one, it will go down on the other as well.
You would think so. You would think exactly. And that's kind of what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would also be really good for a lot of these smaller indie developers too, to be able to get their game on console. So that it
Yeah,
reaches a
definitely.
wider audience too. But like
Like
with that,
im-
what's up? Sorry.
imagine like a Plutonium or the new Horizon Modern Warfare game being
Yeah.
available on console, or even things like 5M.
Right? Or even
That
games
would be
that like
dope.
don't have crossplay between console and PC. For example, like take
Mm-hmm.
Pal World, for example. Pal World doesn't like it's you can have a server, you can have people join you, but there's still no definitive crossplay between console and players because of, rights and issues and shit with that. But like with that happening with certain games like even like Ark, take like Ark,
Mm-hmm.
would they be able to finally have all platforms be able to play together and not worry about the platform, not worry about having to have special codes inside the game that you have to manually put in to have them join you? Like,
Yeah,
or even having to
definitely.
buy your own server anymore to have people join you. I think that would broaden the gaming horizon so much.
Mm-hmm.
But with that also
I think
said,
it's very interesting to see what they have planned for the future.
it is. I'm really excited. But with that being said, though, you got to think about who Microsoft is already partnered with. Microsoft and Nintendo have partnered together as well. They did that, last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now if Microsoft and Steam partner up together, the next question becomes is what happens to Sony? A company that at one point in time was at the pinnacle of entertainment. Not just like we're not just talking in the gaming scene, we're talking like movies, productions, TVs.
Right, definitely.
Like what happens to Sony's gaming division?
Unless,
if they don't get on
see, that's
board.
interesting.
Because Sony's kind of always been like their own entity. They've always isolated themselves from the potential thought of merging with other companies for like gaming.
But do you think they're gonna stay down that route and create their own type of gaming?
I think if they did, it wouldn't matter because they're already losing rights to almost half of the shit that they need for their games. Because especially now that Marvel Studios bought back the rights to Spider-Man and the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. With that being said, that means now Marvel can sell it to Microsoft and allow Microsoft to exclusively make all of Spider-Man games or any Marvel game. And Sony won't be able to have it on its platform because it's a Microsoft exclusive.
That's very true. That is very true. That's
What does that do
interesting.
for Sony's, like, and not only that, but if that also happens, you gotta think of their other Microsoft exclusives that would be incorporated in that would officially be taken off their platform. Like
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty would be taken off the platform because now it would be a Microsoft exclusive as well. Because Microsoft doesn't just own that, but Microsoft has stock in both Activision and Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does become a game now of chess of what does Sony do? Does Sony give up their king, or does Sony get on board? See what I
That's
mean?
very interesting. And we could dive into the whole console war as well.
Console
Which
war would be
really
over because the new
exactly.
new Xbox is gonna have a GPU inside of it. It's literally a PC in an Xbox shell. That's the whole
That's gonna
reason
be
it's
crazy.
able to run Steam.
Do you think as well Xbox is gonna run a lot more computer basis, like things like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint?
I think it'll help tremendously with their servers. I think
Mhm.
it'll help with a lot of server issues that Microsoft's been having recently. Because now instead of having to set up the Xbox Live server and have it integrate with the Steam server, they would just run all their games off the Steam server, which is already a dedicated and set up server, which would just be better. So then their actual Microsoft servers would probably go back to actually running all of the updates in businesses and like business side of the games.
Facts. Because I noticed now, even on Xbox nowadays, the Microsoft servers are not that great.
No, they're not. They're just so overpopulated. That's just it. There's just so many people playing. But on PC, I mean, you could have over 1 million people in the same server, and you'll never know because you'd never notice.
I think potentially as well, as much as they could run the PC server, the Steam servers, I mean, they could also have that as a backup.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So if anything does go wrong with the Microsoft servers, they can fall back onto something without having to
go down. Essentially, there would never be a down setting because if I'm not mistaken, Steam is also trying to engulf Epic. Like Microsoft is on the verge. Microsoft and Steam are on the verge of basically engulfing all of the smaller gaming service platforms into one massive one.
Microsoft has really found a way to just completely destroy everything.
Is it destroying or making sure that everything stays good?
When I say destroy, I don't mean as in make things worse. I mean more in the sense of in regards to the console wars of like who's got this and who's got that or which one's better.
Right?
It's really going to destroy that whole community.
We have it all.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, and really, that's kind of what Microsoft has been kind of doing over the last, 15 years now. If you really think about it, and I think
it also comes down to the question: what are the Sony gamers going to do from this point forward?
They're going to do it all. I mean, and this might be a biased opinion. This is my opinion. I think all the Sony players are going to sit there and deal with the fact that Sony's going to start charging almost a game because they're going to realize that everyone's going over to Microsoft because they just have so much more to offer at such a cheaper price, and you just get so much more for your subscription.
But for that reason, do you think maybe they're going to make things cheaper as opposed to things being more expensive?
I think Sony, if they really want to get on board with it, they would have worked with Microsoft 15 years ago when Microsoft proposed the idea of teaming up and making a console together. I think that's what they would have done if they wanted to survive. If they still want to survive,
100%.
I still think that's what they should do. Like,
I agree with you 100%.
Instead of having wars on consoles, let's give gamers the best experience possible from all the greats. Like, I would love to have one system that I can play Microsoft games on, I can play PlayStation and Nintendo games on. I'd love it.
Exactly.
I would love to sit
And
here
on
and
top
play
of that,
Helldivers, and then 6 hours later, not have to download, like, an emulator, and then go and play Pokemon Red. I would
even like these new Steam games like Hearthstone and things like that, things that aren't really exclusive, that are very exclusive to strictly PC gamers. It would be interesting to see games like that on the console.
Right. No, exactly. And, like, that's what I'm saying. The only people that are getting robbed, it's not these companies that are getting robbed. It's not these developers. It's the community of gamers that are getting robbed of it. Because of what? Some pity, oh, my cock's bigger than fucking yours? Like, no. No. The only people getting hurt
Exactly.
are the fucking gamers. It's just ridiculous. Because it's like, you know how many awesome games are on PlayStation that I can't play because I just refuse to pay the ridiculous price for a PlayStation?
Oh, there's even been times where I've got rid of an Xbox and switched to PlayStation, then realized PlayStation isn't all that. Switch back to Xbox, and yeah, it just saves the hassle of having to do that.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've done that, bro? It's not even funny.
Exactly. And it's stupid. Us as gamers should not have to do that. We should not have to buy a whole new console, sell our old one.
Just to play a one game that looks interesting at the time.
Exactly. One game that looks interesting. And not only that, then you have to cancel your membership, buy a whole new membership now.
And then to play that game and probably complete that game, or spend your time playing that game and be done with it, to then having to go back and redo the subscriptions and
look, if they still want to do subscriptions to play, that's fine. You know what? If you make a subscription for $100 a year to play all platforms, Xbox, Xbox, indie games on PC from small developers and shit like that, Nintendo games, Sony games, you make a flat rate of $100 a year and you can play all of them. Dude, you know how much money you would make? You'd make
100%.
You would make so much money. It's kind of ridiculous.
Even having access to new games that are coming out, you don't have to worry about, oh, do I have this console? Do I have the right backing?
It's just like, that would be phenomenal. And not making these games so goddamn big. Jesus, I should not have a fucking 3 terabyte internal hard drive already filled up just because of the size of games. It's ridiculous. Size of coming over.
And then you go into the games that you own, and there's only like 7 games on there, and you're like, now I've got to delete this one and install this one, and then even if that one doesn't hit as well, you got to delete that one and reinstall the old game, and
some of these games aren't cheap these days either. I mean, you're spending I think in a single year, the avid streamer, the avid indie game streamer, let's just say indie game streamer, I guarantee you they buy anywhere from, let's say, 50 to 75 games a year. I mean, that's a pretty generous number.
And then on top of that, see the question is now, where they're doing that and making these games cheaper as well, are they going to make like the add-ons or the in-game purchases more expensive?
Honestly, I think I understand why game developers do the in-game content. I get it. But look, in-game content is in-game content for a game that is fully developed. I am not going to continue to pay for a game where, in order to continue the story of that game, I am forced to buy the DLC. That is unacceptable.
Exactly.
That is stupid. That is literally the entire premise of Destiny. And as much as I don't want to say this, that's kind of the entire premise nowadays, it feels like, of Elder Scrolls. It's stupid. Give me a full game. Let's develop full games and then do add-on content that's end game shit. That's fine. Like Monster Hunter, I love Monster Hunter for that. They'll give you a full game. Whole ass game. All the way up until high rank. And then after high rank, you have to go and normally you have to buy the DLC, which then unlocks master rank. But that also unlocks you another 6 months of playable content. You're basically getting a whole other game for $60. That's why I don't mind paying $60 for fucking Monster Hunter updates and shit like that. Because it's only one. They only give you one. $60.
And that's where it's actually worth. That's where it's actually worth buying in-game content as opposed to like, you know, little things like buying maps or buying little camos or skins or, you know,
Yeah.
little packs that will unlock you certain things. It's just wasting money. A lot of it is just promoted gambling.
Oh, for
Instead
sure,
of
100% it is, and it's just like, dude, why have I spent? This was a $40 game. I've now spent like $500 on this game just to play it. What is this? What happened to the $40?
even some of those games where you have to,
Don't
you
get
know,
me
people
started
end up.
about spending money on video games tomorrow.
Listen, Sice, we're gonna talk about your War Thunder.
Bro, I'm good, yeah. I bought a game that was like £6. That's like probably like $10. Then when it comes to all the in-game purchases, I've spent like $500 plus on a $5 game.
That's crazy.
Well, it looks
But
like it's time for me to expose myself. Yeah, see, microtransactions really get a hold on you, bro, because I turned a free fitty. I'm talking no money spent to play the game into a $5,000 game. Yeah, so
Bro, because back in the day I used to be a big FIFA player. If they had check of all my transactions via FIFA, bro, I've definitely spent over 10,000.
yeah, like
I believe that, dude. But we're gonna hop off microtransactions because I don't think Sice wants to expose himself too much more.
I really don't, bro, because I have other games. Which let's not get into it, please.
But I can say, since this is definitely, I want to give a few updates about the studio. Studio right now is I'm going to be working with leaders and representatives from different orgs and different communities around the gaming scene. And it's going to be a new segment on the show. We're going to call it Rebuilding the Gaming World. That's what it's going to be called. It's a working title. But basically, the segment is going to be me getting together with leaders and community members and community leaders and team leaders, just leaders and respected representatives from multiple different organizations. And I want to get back to the time of when the community actually worked together back in like I'm sure you remember this back in like 2012 when like the COD scene was popping off, when like teams were doing dual tages and members were doing dual
And there was
tages and
teams
shit with
actually,
everybody. You remember that shit?
and there was teams actually worth pushing for, and you know lot of teams weren't being bought out or just quitting, and you know there's really no. If you go to nowadays in regards to Call of Duty, there is no drive for the community whatsoever.
Well, that's just because sadly the community that we had grown up with in Call of Duty, I mean, we as avid snipers and avid Call of Duty players in that scene, we laid down the foundation for that shit. Like, we really did. We laid down the good, the bad, and the ugly for how that scene is now rolled these days. I mean,
100%.
like, I definitely remember the days of being back in some of the teams that I was in, and to think that 75% of the sniping community in Call of Duty is gone is insane.
See, that's a thing as well because. Sorry, what?
No, what's up? Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, like I used to be very big in the Call of Duty community. Like I was talking like I've been involved since before everyone was trick shotting, everyone was just doing no scopes behind the wall.
I remember those days, dude. The COD 2 days.
And it's like you know, I came out of the community for a very long time when everything started branching over to things like Fortnite and games like that. Personally, it wasn't really my idea of gaming. And coming back into Call of Duty and seeing how everything is heartbreaking, to be honest.
It is. Dude, honestly, when I left the gaming scene, it was in a good spot. But I'm gonna be honest, coming back to it and just seeing it now, I really, the gaming scene gave me a lot, and it's my turn to give back. So
100%.
if that's networking new teams with existing teams, like like new and upcoming teams with the existing teams that actually like do dual tages, or even just give that drive back. 'Cause I mean, hell, think back to the days when like SOAR and FaZe were small. So FaZe would draft people right out of SOAR. If you were in SOAR for like 6 months and were active, you got into FaZe. That's just how it was. I mean, even like Obey and Darth, Dare,
and yeah. Like everyone was really close together. And there
Let's
was
bring that.
even some people that was leading, say for example, Saul, that was involved with FaZe that could kind of branch people together, you know,
No, exactly.
and kind of bring
Like,
people over, kind of monitor.
when did we as a community stop helping each other grow in
Mhm.
this, especially in the scene that we're all in? I mean, that's what this
Mhm.
whole project's going to be dedicated towards. Like, I am going
Even.
to work everyone together again.
Mhm.
That is what this
100%.
whole new segment is going to be for.
Even in regards to like back in the day, everyone used to just kind of have fun with the content they was putting out or having fun with the clips they was making. There was really no pressure. There wasn't any standards. Like everyone was just kind of doing what they do. But nowadays, where all these standards and people are doing this and people are doing that and expecting everybody to be able to do what they're doing, it's created animosity within the community and a lot of people instead of supporting each other or hating on each other.
No, exactly, 100%. And that is what we need to change.
Mhm.
That is going to be that is one of my goals with this show.
100%.
One of my goals is to just get the community back to supporting one another.
Make Call of Duty great again.
Dude, make gaming great again. Not just COD. Let's
Exactly.
make gaming in general great again. It has gotten so bad. So bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. It makes me not want to play.
Dude,
100%.
that's why I play
Like, I remember-
Borderlands again.
Like, I remember when I could veg out on a game by myself and enjoy it, but now games are so shit that I'm like, dude, I need I need the camaraderie. I need to play with someone or else I just not gonna play.
And then even when you be venturing into playing with other people, like those other people are like they're kind of watching you as you ain't doing this or you ain't doing that, so you can't play with me.
No,
you know?
facts. Facts, dude. People criticize you for everything that you do nowadays. I'm like, dude, do you not remember when gaming wasn't, oh, look, you're doing this. It was, hey, look, I found an easier way for you to do this. Like, hell, I remember playing those indie games on, like, the 64 and the Super Nintendo. And my cousins and I sitting around that small LCD screen on a box. I was on box TV. Like,
I
I
remember
remember those days, and let me tell you, let's make gaming like how that was. Let's make gaming feel not like we're competing against one another, but let's make gaming feel comfortable again with each other. Because that's what it was.
Yeah,
You didn't get upset when someone said, "Hey, you should do it like this." You were like, "That's probably better. I'm gonna go this way now." Like,
because 9 times out of 10 they were just trying to help you get better.
exactly. Let's bring that back to game 100%.
And even that, it created that spaces where you were playing the same game, but you had opportunities for it to feel like it was new.
Oh yeah, like 100%. You know, it's gonna be good.
That's why, to be honest, with regards to like games like Black Ops 2, for example, yeah. I kind of like. I love what they're doing with these infections and stuff because honestly, as much as it can, you know, if you use them for bad, then it can mess up the game. But if you use it for things like revamp, which is basically like it makes plutonium, it's like a plutonium game mode for the console. It makes it feel like a brand new game again.
It really does. It really does. And like, not even with that. I mean, hell, for example, I mean, Scythe, I'm sure you know all about this, but let's take the War Thunder community for example.
What do you want to know about them?
I just want to talk about your insight on like the War Thunder community over the years. I mean, you've been in it for a while. I think he's dealing with his kids real quick. We'll come back.
Yeah, makes sense. We'll keep that one on hold.
We'll keep
My
that
bad.
one.
My bad.
Very good.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah, no, War Thunder, see, that's a whole different, like, that community's mean, okay? There's no way to talk about it. People think that COD's bad, but DemizE has experienced it. Our friends Minion and Grim have experienced it. The moment you load in, bro, you have a 10 out of 10 chance of seeing something real bad in that chat because there's no voice chat in War Thunder. Like, you can voice chat, but it's really bad. Nah, I don't want to talk bad about the game I love the most.
It's not talking
No,
bad.
but sometimes it's constructive criticism.
It is.
It's just bad because 90% of the player base for War Thunder is Russian or Eastern European. But they don't like people say Americans ain't got filters. What's a filter over there? Cause they've never heard of it. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like you get on War Thunder today, it's like you just hopped in a Black Ops lobby 15 years ago. It's real raunchy, bro.
But to be
Real
honest,
raunchy.
low key, I know a lot of OGs in the community, especially in regards to Call of Duty. I know we missed them days where it was like, you could get in a lobby and kind of vent out your feelings, and no one would really care.
That's why I play War Thunder.
See, I think the problem now, though, with that is how heavily they're monitoring Call of Duty voice chats now, finally. Like, hell, you can't even... Hell, I've been terrified to go into a COD game because, I mean, I grew up in those days of Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, COD 2. I mean, you remember
Even
how
World at War at a point.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Dude,
100%.
World at War was bad. It was so bad. Like, you couldn't go into a World at War lobby without hearing a racial slur, some form of, like, racial anything. Like, it was bad.
It's like everybody attacked everyone's parents as well.
It was.
Dude,
everybody was fucking everyone's parents, apparently. Like, let's be real. The 13-year-old of me saying, yeah, well, I fucked your mom last night. To, like, half the people inside the COD lobby. I got no problem. I have no shame in fucking admitting that to myself. I got no shame in admitting that. No shame.
You had to. It was part of the game.
It was part of the game. You just hit a banger on that fucking kid? Yeah, I fucked your mom last night on top of hitting this banger this morning. What's up?
But it's those type of things that actually make cool. As much as it was, kind of fucked, and certain things weren't what you wanted to hear to like all the time, but it was one of the things that kind of gave Call of Duty that freedom of expression, and
it did. I mean, and you know what? You know something hilarious? I still remember this to this day. This is hilarious. This was when I was in Darth. This had to have been Black Ops to Modern Warfare 3 time period. Black Ops to Modern Warfare 3. I definitely remember hitting a clip on a dude in like Link, and then because he was in a party with some guy and some people from Toon. It was like a lobby. It was me, Cross, some people from Obey. I think some random guy because we only had a 5-stack, so we just had some random person in our lobby. But like it was just crazy seeing seeing Link, Toon, Tone, fucking Fuse, and then I think they also had some random with them too. But like just shit talking each other, and then when you guys hit a good clip on each other, even though you're shit talking at it, the end of the clip you still said, "Dude, that was a crazy clip."
Yeah, exactly. See, that's where it's kind of switched up a lot.
And
Instead of talking shit in game and then applauding, an accomplishment that they hit, nowadays people are being nice in game and then shitting on people's accomplishments in regards to clips.
Yeah, and I was just like, brother, that man just fucking wrecked us. Give the man his props. That man just hit a clip and still dominated our shit.
And nowadays, all you hear is, it wasn't 1440, or you didn't knack, or you didn't hit the reload, you didn't do this.
It's like, dude, just give the man his props. He built you, he clipped you. It happens to the best of us. Give him his props and get him next time. That's all it is. Like, I mean, hell, it happened to all of us. It happened to the best of us. I mean, that was just the community. And you know what? That's how people got recognized. Like,
and that's one thing as well. I really do miss how easy it was for, like, say you could be, I don't know, for example, in a team that wasn't really as successful as these big teams, but you could still be in lobbies and games with like FaZe members, SOAR members, or Bay members. It wasn't so much as you have to kind of stick to who you know. You could branch out and push yourself to play with other people that were more known in the community, let's say.
Hell, I remember when being known in the community didn't matter. You know what mattered about the community? The community was, did these people enjoy your presence playing with them? That's all it was. It didn't matter if you were good. It didn't matter if you were shit. Because I definitely remember because I never claimed to be a trick shotter, but I definitely got into some lobbies with people from like SOAR, or even people from like L7 back in the day, and I told them, I was like, hey man, I'm not a trick shotter. They were like, I don't give a shit. I just want to play with you. But even then, they would still encourage me to be like, hey man, you should try it. Just try it. Give it just give it one go. And you know, if it wasn't for L7 Universe, I would have never started trick shotting. I wasn't good, and I'm still not good.
I remember him, you know.
I'm dog shit at trick shotting to this day. I will never ever claim to be a trick shotter.
See me growing up, I was a hybrid because I kind of came up when, you know, everyone was sniping and then everyone started trick shotting and stuff. So I always kind of found fun in both, but it was cool to be able to like say. I remember times where I was kind of playing by myself for a little bit, and then I ended up getting into lobbies with like, I don't know, someone in Saw, and then they kind of, you know, we was playing together consistently, and then I started playing with other phase members. I remember being in, you know, playing with Zanzi's and Fables back in the day, and then people from like Psycho and DZ or Error and stuff like that. And it's like
Those days, I miss.
those and it's like playing with those, even just having a random group of people, even now to this day, some of those guys are still my best, you know, like still my best people that are around me, you know.
Oh, I know, I 100% get that. But I think we're gonna wrap the show up. We got a lot more to talk about here in the coming weeks. I mean, we got that series, buddy. Don't forget that.
100%.
It'll be a running series. I'm going to be getting different teams together and collabing every fucking month. So it's going to be good.
100%.
It's going to be good. It has been. Let's get final words from everybody. Scythe, got any final words for the people?
Man, look out for that big old merger, because Microsoft and Steam coming hard within the next year. Keep an eye out for that.
Facts. Somebody got any leaving words for these fine people?
I think my leaving words are gonna be, it's okay to 720 insta swap.
Nice. I love it. And you know what? As
I
always,
need to restart my PC.
Oh, you do? Okay. As always, let's make gaming what it was. Let's bring back the camaraderie in gaming. And as always, let's bring adult gaming back. Fuck it. Bring back rated A games. Bring them back. And you know what? That's going to be a wrap. That is definitely a good show.